Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. And so today I wanted to talk about going through a difficult time. I wanted to talk about being unwell, more on the energetic side of things. Being unwell, not feeling good, going through negative emotions, healing, purging, releasing. And so quite often on the path, a lot of us will go through these different ups and downs. A lot of us will. And we know through the mind, or we know through reading or through being told that this is a part of healing and that this is a part of the process that we need to go through. That when we are connecting to source, when we are bringing more light and more frequency into our field, into our body, into our energetic system, it's going to bring up more things within us, more darkness that needs to be seen, that needs to be healed. And so when we're going through this and we are expanding, we are increasing our vibration, we are increasing our life force, we are increasing our level of consciousness, we're connecting more to source, it's going to be very beautiful. It's going to be very peaceful, very joyful, very loving, very expansive, very non-dual, very, very nice. And that is very, very crucial because it's okay to accept that. We want to accept that. We want to allow ourselves to step into that nature of oneness, of non-duality, of peace, of joy, of our true nature. But as we do this, there are going to be parts of us that resist. There are going to be parts of our egoic self that will resist this light, that will find it unusual, unfamiliar. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this amount of power. I don't know what to do. And we can tend to resist it. We can tend to want to go back to our familiar self, our small self. So we will resist this amount of light that comes through. Another reason we'll resist it is because it's going to really shine a light on areas of our life, on shadow aspects, on parts of us that need to be healed. It's really going to shine parts of our life externally that aren't working, things that we need to change and let go of. So, and that's not comfortable for the ego. The ego likes to stay attached. It likes to do the same thing. It likes to have the same friends, eat the same food, watch the same shows, do the same activities. It likes to do the same things. So when we step into source, when we're stepping into this true nature of oneness, we're actually stepping into the unknown. We're stepping into the unfamiliar, new opportunities, change, which is, it's amazing, isn't it? We want change. Some of us don't. But for a lot of people, they do want change. They do want this new thing to come into their life. They do want to manifest things. They want to better themselves. And a lot of people don't realize that they may want this consciously, but unconsciously, they don't. Because your biology doesn't want to. Your ego self, your tribal nature, doesn't want to evolve. It doesn't. It wants to stay the same. So we often think that we want to step up, but then we have a lot of these parts of us holding us back. And that's why people struggle to work on themselves and to make transformational change, to step into higher vibrations. There's more of this ego backlash that comes through. It's like, no, let's stay here. And of course we want to stay there because when we stay small, when we stay our familiar self, it's kept us safe. It's a survival instinct. If we expand, we don't know, we could get hurt. If we expand, we get seen more. We become more in the light. We're more noticed. We're more expressive. We're speaking our truth. When we speak our truth, that's also scary for the ego too, because the ego's like, oh, we don't want to say things that affect others. We want to, appraise them. We want to get those people to give us their approval. We don't want to get hurt by others. And this is the groupthink mentality. But I want to come back to this topic of, while we're doing this, while we are expanding, we are going to feel negative emotions. We are going to have more awareness of our negative thoughts, more awareness of things that come through. And there's going to be many types of symptoms that come forward when you are practicing meditation, when you are doing breath work, when you are doing Qigong or different types of healing modalities, or just being on the path just without doing any of these things. There's going to be lots of things that come up for you. And you're going to get unwell along the journey. Like, things will annoy you. There's going to be pain. There's going to be discomfort. And this is very normal. And a lot of us know this, but when we're going through this, including myself, when we go through it, it's difficult. We don't like it. The ego doesn't like pain. It wants to shift it. It wants to change it now. Like, the ego, it wants the quick path. It wants, I don't like this. This hurts. What's the quickest way I can get rid of this? What's the quickest way I can feel good again? And you'll see, this is big in the Western societies where they have lots of medication and band-aid solutions, which help, but they're just little temporary fixes. They're fast. They fix the problem at the surface, but not the problem at the core. And, you'll see this, that people want the fast alternative. They want the healing that takes instant. And, I get caught up in this as well. And obviously you can have very transformative therapeutic sessions and healing sessions. In one instance, it could be very huge and such a powerful transformative leap. 100% agree. You can have certain medicinal mushroom experiences. You can have psychedelic experiences. You can go and do Kambo. You can go and do breath work, go on retreat for 3 or 4 days, do a darkness retreat. These are going to give you huge leaps in your expansion, 100%. But what happens is we come back to society and we go back to doing things that are affecting us. We go back to the busyness, back to the unhealthy diets, back to the unhealthy habits. And that whole retreat that we did, or that big experience, doesn't become something sustainable because we end up going back to our problems, back to our small self, back to our old habits and ways of thinking and living. So it can be very helpful to have something more sustainable, something that we can do regularly, a regular practice. When we do these regular practices, this is going to help us to live with more of a greater awareness, and so that we don't have to go to that band-aid solution at times. We don't have to try and fix everything straight away. And this is when spirit comes in, because spirit knows when you have that core essence, when you're more rooted in your lower belly, you're more connected to your heart, you're more connected to your true nature, your intuitive nature, you know that things will pass. And this has come to me through a lot of experience, through me going through a lot of difficult times. And I still go through them. But the difference is I perceive them a little bit differently now. I have more space between what I'm experiencing and the awareness behind it. So I'm not caught up as in the battle. I'm not attached to it, not gripping on it. I'm not as identified to it. So I can allow it to come. I don't grip onto it. I don't want it to shift straight away. I obviously know that my ego is not enjoying this, but it will pass. There's this core truth and faith and trust that it will pass. It's not who I am. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. I'm not my experiences. I am the one who experiences. And by staying in this truth, by staying in this core essence, it helps for us to deal with what we're experiencing, to see it, to say, what's going on there? What's going on? Like if you were caught up in the battle and you're inside the battle and you're fighting and you're identified with the battle, how are you going to think clearly? How are you going to inquire into what's going on? What's the right steps to take? What should we do? You're too caught up in it. You're too caught up in the fight or flight, the ego. So you're fighting, you're trying to stay alive. But if you take a step back and you identify yourself as the person observing from above the castle, the person who observes the battle, and what happens is you don't ignore the battle. You don't go just running inside. The battle's still happening in your field. The the battle is still something you have to deal with, something you have to pay attention to give love to. And you see, okay, we can make some changes. We can inquire, what's going on with this battle? Let's have a look. What changes need to be made? What does this battle require? And it's a lot different for being stuck in the battle in that fight or flight mode. You cannot make clear decisions. You make rational decisions. This is what the ego does when we go through difficult times. It'll make decisions based on what we're experiencing. It'll make very irrational decisions and decisions that we regret later on when we shift out of that battle, when we shift out of that negative emotion, that negative experience, that painful moment. When we shift out of it, we're like, oh wow, like it's like a post-clarity. I can't believe I was thinking like that. I can't believe I was that scared and afraid. It was kind of like this illusion that I was under. So this is going to happen when you're going through different painful experiences. You're going to identify, attach. We have to detach. We have to stay rooted in our core essence. This is where the practice of meditation is exceptionally helpful for this, because you develop more awareness. You develop this space that holds this problem that you're dealing with, these thoughts. There's space for thoughts. There's space for the emotions. There's room. And you realize that you are the one who observes. You are not the one who experiences. You are the one who is observing the experience. And so when we can watch our battle from afar, we can make the right decisions. We can make clear decisions from a space of safety, from a space of peace, from a space of calm and inner joy, knowing that the battle will end. Let's attend to the battle. Let's not ignore the battle and bypass the battle, because the battle's still happening in our field. So we can't ignore it. We can't run away from it. So it's still happening. It still needs something. It still needs attention. We need to resolve the battle. And sometimes it may be simple, and sometimes the battle needs to play out. The fight just needs to play out. And let the fight play out. And eventually the fight will end. And then we'll resolve, and there'll be an end to the war, an end to that conflict. And I'm using this metaphor in regards to the end of your inner conflict, your inner war, your inner experience. And so you're going to go through many different ups and downs in life. This is life. And when we go through the down, what happens is our vibration dips, it lowers. When our vibration dips, the world around us changes. And we go into this temporary illusion. And while we're in this temporary illusion, we need to know that whatever we're experiencing in the external world is now due to our interior state, our state of vibration, our beliefs. And so we know this. But what's going to happen, we don't want to make too many drastic decisions while we stoop down. And especially while you're healing, while you're going through an emotional crisis, or you're going through a purging process, you're going to have thoughts associated with that. You're going to be in a vibration of that temporarily. So you need to not identify with that. Observe, allow, give it love, don't attach to it. It will pass. And the fundamental truth, like all things that we experience, pass. What happens is why they linger around for so long is because we attach, we identify with them. We don't let them go. Or we get caught up in it and make the problem worse and worse than what it actually is. We make it worse and worse and worse, or we try and band-aid it like before. We try and fix it so quickly, and that doesn't work because God wants you to experience the battle at times. Sometimes we can't just get rid of it. Sometimes the battle needs to play out. There's lessons in the battle. There's great learnings, great growth, great teachings in the battle. You know, there's been many battles over time in history that didn't seem good initially, but later on they created a rippling effect for growth, for great opportunities, for new joining of functions and countries. Now that people are allies. So there's many benefits behind battles, and this is just a metaphor. But your inner battle, we can always think that something's wrong, and while we're going through it, we don't like it, we hate it. And the ego wants to get rid of it, but we just need to allow it to be there. Very, very crucial. very crucial. And yes, we can try anything that we can to try and shift that. It's in your free will. If you don't like something, I get it. So we don't want to get caught up in, because this could be easily perceived as I'm going through something and my life shit and I don't want to do anything about it because it's going to pass. So sometimes, yes, you can be empowered and take action and make shifts, because often that even may be what God is wanting to teach you. It might be creating a catalyst in your life for you to go to meditation, for you to learn breath work, for you to go to a healer, for you to start looking into therapy and going into nature, start looking into your mental health. These are often big catalysts that shift us into wanting to make change. So yes, be all, make the change. If you need to make the change, make the change. But when we are going through certain healing processes or certain dark night of the souls that people talk about, and they're purging, life's chaotic, it can be helpful to allow it to be there and know that it will pass. To try and do what you can to shift that, but also have this trust and faith that it will pass. That is true. The only thing that stays is who you truly are. That all things will come and go. And so another great metaphor is that when you're sick, when you're unwell, say you got the flu, and you know that the flu will pass. Like, we know this because we've had the flu before. So very similar to going through an emotional crisis, a healing journey. If you haven't had it before, you don't trust it. But because you've had it before over and over and over and over again, like myself, like many others, they know, they have this reference experience. Oh, it will pass. I've had this before. I know what this is now. It's going to pass. So we don't stress about it. So when you get the flu, you can see, you can really, really stress about it and think that it's something else. It's like some bigger virus. It's going to kill me. Or it's something a lot more stronger. You can see when we think that what we're experiencing is something 100 times worse, it actually gives us more anxiety and makes it worse than what it actually is. So we can make the experience worse than what it is. But often if you just if someone said to you had some dangerous virus, you're going to freak out a lot more than someone just saying, oh, you just got the flu, because you've experienced that. You know the flu. Everyone has a general consensus that the flu is okay. It's not that big of a deal. So just like when you have the flu, what do? You try your best. You get ginger, lemon, you get warm teas. You might need to rest. So you're doing all these things. You're giving yourself the self-love and self-care. You're like, I need to take time off work. So you're giving yourself the break. You call in sick. You take a week off. So that sickness is giving you time with yourself. So okay, it's going to pass. I'm not stressed about it. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to try and eat good food. Try and get the right nutrition. And do whatever you can to try and clear this sickness. Like, you do that. You try your best to clear it. But at the same time, you're not going to clear it overnight. And sometimes it can happen. Sometimes overnight, bang, you're feeling better. But sometimes it takes a week. So it may take a couple of days. I'm probably not going to shift it in one night. I can try my best. I can do all the great immune boosting stuff. I can do cleansing and eucalyptus and whatever it may be for you, whatever type of sickness you have, if you've got the flu. So you can do all those steps, but that, okay, it still needs to take time. It still is going to take time. It will pass. I can do what I can. Obviously, if you don't attend to those things, if you don't take things that are going to help your immunity while you're sick, certain health remedies, then you might prolong the sickness. It's very similar to on the path. If you're going through an emotional crisis, and if you maybe don't attend to that, you don't have a self-care day, maybe don't sit with yourself and meditate, maybe don't go and see your healer, maybe don't go and do yoga, don't go into nature, don't go and journal, don't go and do some breath work, or go to a workshop that's going to help you, a healing circle. So if you don't do those things, obviously it's possibly going to prolong your sickness. Just like if you were to just allow your sickness to be there, continuing to go about your day, going to work, still going out, drinking, still smoking, still eating crappy food, still doing all the things that you would normally do while you're sick, that's going to prolong your sickness, and if not, make your sickness even worse. Like, it's probably not going to heal for a long, long time. So you're going to prolong it. But you can see where the sickness, if you listen to it and you give yourself the time, it's like listening to your body. Something's wrong. It needs attention. I need to slow down and listen to it. And when you do this, just like being sick, it's a great opportunity for you to slow down. It's like the universe telling you, you need to slow down. So we're going to create this sickness for you so that you can learn, so you can grow, so that you can attend to yourself. And just like when you're going through an emotional crisis and you're going through a healing problem, it will pass. But God's given you that opportunity to connect, to see there's something within you that needs attention. There's something within you that needs to be healed. Can you slow down? Can you attend to that? And just like being sick, you can do all the right things. Try not to band-aid it and try to find some quick solution, which a lot of people go to. They will go to eating crappy foods. They'll go to numbing themselves and watching television shows, having sex, alcohol, drugs. They'll just constantly just distract themselves from the inner pain. And, this is what the ego wants to do. It doesn't want to experience that, so it wants the quickest way out. But that's often not going to be beneficial long term. Just like when we're sick, again, if you keep doing the bad things, you're not going to heal as fast. You will heal eventually, but it's not going to happen as fast. So when we're going through our healing journey, yes, we can do all the right things. Do all the meditation, seek the help, do the healing work, do the yoga, do everything we can, eat the healthy food, everything that's going to try and nurture us and support us during that journey. But the fundamental truth as well that we need with that is to know that it will pass. It's going to be okay. Don't make it worse than what it is. Create that space. Be aware of it. Don't become it. Be aware of it. Don't become the battle. Let the battle play out. Give the battle the attention it needs. Make the changes that are necessary with the battle, but you're not the battle. A lot different frame, a lot different energetic perspective here when you're in the safety of the castle and not engulfed in the battle. So when you are experiencing it, know that it's okay. If you are experiencing certain emotions that come up at times, they will pass. They will pass, that's for sure. But while you're going through it, you will perhaps identify with it and become engulfed with it. And that's going to distort your reality and create a distorted view on the world. So you're going to know that will shift. It's okay. You're not going to manifest everything, like it's not going to ruin your life while you're going through that time either. Because a lot of us, we don't want to go through that because we hear about manifestation and if I'm feeling sadness, I'm going to manifest sadness. If I'm feeling pain, I'm going to manifest pain. Like, no, it's not always like that. Like, we need to allow ourselves to experience that, to let it go, to release that. Doesn't mean it's going to manifest in our life straight away. Like, there is a truth to that, but it's also not going to happen when we're going through our healing journey. It's different. It's kind of like a balance. So just to know that when you are going through it, you're going to very, very get delusional about it. Believe the thoughts. Don't believe the thoughts. Don't believe the thoughts that come through while you're going through it. Give yourself the space, just like if you were sick. Know that it's going to take time. It may take a week. It may take 2. It may take a couple of days. Treat yourself. Give yourself the love and intention. Give yourself all of that loving awareness and support it needs. Whatever you need to do, make the changes. Listen to your body. But then know that we have to be patient as well. That we can't, there's no band-aid solution. So don't go to the band-aid solutions. Don't resist it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. And, I've gone through many of these little crises and continue to go through them, but I just have more space between them. And I still know when I'm going through them that it's a bit of an illusion. I shouldn't believe the thoughts. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. And it's learning, it's lessons. It's about getting better at it, better at observing it, better at trusting and having that faith in our essence. And this helps a lot. This helps a lot. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and being patient.